I met my biological sister at a work conference in Phoenix. She was presenting in the slot before mine. I was in the back of the room when she turned to write on the board, and I saw my own face looking back at me. I was adopted at birth and always knew. My parents never hid it, answered questions, kept a single photo of a woman they said was my birth mother. I grew up without resentment, made peace with the not knowing by my late 20s. When I walked into that conference room in Phoenix last October, I was 38 years old and hadn't thought about my biological family in years. Then the woman at the podium turned to write on the board. Her name was on the program, Dr. Lena Park, Organizational Psychology, Northwestern. I spent her presentation watching her hands, her posture, the way she tilted her head when someone asked a question I recognized as something I did. After she finished, I waited for the room to clear. I walked up and said, "I know this is strange." She turned around. Her face did something I'd never seen a stranger's face do before. It recognized me back. We sat in the hotel bar for 3 hours. Same birth month, different years. She was 35. Both adopted, both had always known. Neither had ever searched. She grew up in Minneapolis, I grew up in Columbus. By the second hour, we had our phones out side by side. Baby photos, childhood shots lined up together, the bone structure, the jawline, a small crook in the left eyebrow that neither of us had ever had explained. I called my adoptive mother from my hotel room that night. When I told her, she went quiet. Then she said she'd always thought there might be siblings, that the agency had mentioned a complicated situation. I asked why she'd never told me. She said she didn't want me spending my life looking for something that might not exist. I lay on the hotel bed and thought about 38 years of not knowing Lena existed. She'd been at Northwestern for a decade. Lena had called her parents by then too. Her mother flew to Phoenix the next morning. Just came, no questions. She was there at breakfast, a small woman in a yellow cardigan watching two people find each other. At some point, Lena moved a strand of hair out of my face without thinking, then stopped and laughed at herself. Her mother covered her mouth. I thought I was going to fall apart right at that table. We hired a search firm the week after Phoenix. Our biological mother had died in 2019, cancer fast, a year before we found each other. Her name was Miriam. She'd placed 2 daughters for adoption 4 years apart and never married. The firm found a neighbor who'd known her 30 years. She said Miriam kept photos on her wall, that she talked about her daughters sometimes like she knew them from a distance she couldn't close. Lena and I flew to Portland to meet the neighbor. Ruth opened the door and started to cry. She had a shoebox. Inside, newspaper clippings about Ohio adoption records from the early 2000s, notes in Miriam's handwriting, and an envelope with our names, one each, that Miriam had given her in 2018. Ruth said she'd been hoping to find us for years. Miriam had asked her to hand them to us herself. Miriam's letter to me was 2 pages. She described giving me up as the hardest decision of her life and the one she was most certain about. She couldn't give me what I deserved, she wrote. She'd chosen my parents carefully, watched the agency for a year before trusting them. She knew my parents' first names. She knew I'd been placed on a Tuesday in October. She had the date memorized. She said she thought about that Tuesday every single year. Lena's letter was softer, like Miriam hadn't known what to say to a second daughter she'd let go. Lena read it without speaking, then folded it into her bag. Ruth had one photo, Miriam in her garden, a real smile. Lena and I stood together and looked at it. Same jawline, same crook in the left eyebrow. Neither of us said a word.